I think Indiana's Curt Cignetti and the Big Ten bullied the SEC into a 9-game conference schedule. But that also means that the ball is in the Big Ten's court for the next college football playoff format. I'll explain it all. Locked On Big Ten starts right now.
You are Locked On Big Ten, your daily podcast on the Big Ten Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Big Ten. I'm Craig Sheeman. 40 years as a sports talk show host and play-by-play announcer. I want to thank you for making us your first listen each and every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Hit that free subscribe button down below. That way you'll never miss a single episode. And if you could, share, follow, and like. That helps us out too. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Football season is here. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your futures bets today. All right, Coach Sig and the Big Ten bullied the SEC into what they wanted. I'll explain. Plus, we've got Big Ten news, recruiting, the latest on Nebraska. By the way, 4 Big Ten teams play this week before Saturday. We're on it. Plus our Tuesday tweets, all right here. So the SEC had been teetering back and forth for like years on whether to jump from an 8-game conference schedule to a 9-game conference schedule. And, you know, the Big Ten plays 9 conference games during its football season. And, of course, last week, the SEC announced it would finally jump to a 9-game schedule in the 2026 football season. Now, the SEC had arrogantly felt that their 8 conference games in the big, tough SEC was enough. That's tough enough. We got 8. We're good. We're tougher. We're better than everybody. We're the SEC. We're the best. We're the toughest. We're the fastest. And we're the closest thing to the National Football League. So we're good with just 8. If we play 9 games, that's just too tough. We're way tougher than everybody else with our schedules. So there was no need to make their conference schedule a tougher 9th conference game. But a couple of things happened along the way, almost overnight. First of all, the Big Ten caught up with them. Funny how paying players can even the score a little bit, right? I know it's a cheap shot, but it's true. Even though the SEC hacks like Paul Feinbaum out there, they refuse to admit it. The Big Ten owns the last 2 national championships. The Big Ten makes more money than the SEC. The Big Ten has put a beat down on the SEC in head-to-head play recently. And we can't wait for Saturday's season opener between the SEC's number 1 rated Texas Longhorns and the number 3 rated Ohio State Buckeyes from the Big Ten on Saturday afternoon. If nothing else, just for Big Ten bragging rights. We're going to be pulling hard for the Buckeyes. Programming note right there. We are going to go live here on Locked On Big Ten Saturday. We do this every football season after the biggest games. We'll go live here on this Locked On Big Ten YouTube channel immediately after the game. For my immediate reaction, your immediate reaction. It's a blast. It's one of the most fun things we do throughout the year. Probably will be about 3:30 Eastern time, roughly, give or take. Again, immediate post-game reaction. We'll be doing that all throughout the season. Biggest games of the day. For example, week 2, I can already tell you it'll be after the Michigan-Oklahoma game, and we'll be off and running for the rest of the season. But back to me bullying the SEC. So as you know by now, the Big Ten and the SEC, they hold all the decision-making power regarding the future college football playoff format for 2026 and beyond. However, the Big Ten and the SEC cannot come to an agreement on what format to use, automatic qualifiers, at-large bids, the total number of teams, the whole thing. Can't come to an agreement. One of the sticking points was the conference schedules. I mean, how could we fairly decide how many Big Ten and SEC teams would get playoff spots if one conference was only playing 8 conference games and the other one was playing 9? So we've evened that out. Big Ten Commissioner Tony Petitti said that his teams were exposing themselves to more risk of an additional loss by playing the 9th conference game instead of 8 like the SEC. So we've solved that problem. Now, I mean, and another thing that was going on here, and let's just be honest, all right, all the while the SEC was playing 8, the Big Ten was playing 9, schools, like I'm going to pick on Georgia here for a minute. Believe me, I could throw a dart at a wall, a list of SEC teams. I can come up with a bunch of them, but let's pick on Georgia. Their non-conference schedule includes Marshall, Austin P, and Charlotte. Last year, Georgia played Tennessee Tech and UMass. I mean, they just want to sit here and tell everybody how tough their schedule is because they play other SEC teams. Well, they really pad the cupcakes in here. In fact, 12 out of 16 SEC teams have at least 3 cupcakes on their schedule like this. But nobody said a word. Nobody ever said a word because the mighty SEC teams, they had such a tough conference schedule. Now, Curt Cignetti came along at Indiana, and he led the Hoosiers, who that program had more losses than anybody in the history of college football, over 700 losses. Came in his first year, they went 11-1. They lost one Big Ten game. They beat everybody else in the conference, and they beat their non-conference games. They had to beat all the non-conference teams, and they got into the college football playoffs. Now, Indiana's non-conference was pretty easy last year. They had FIU. They had Western Illinois, whom Indiana scored 77 points on. And they had Charlotte. Yeah, the same Charlotte that's on Georgia's schedule. See where I'm going with this? So this year, the Hoosiers non-conference includes Old Dominion, Kennesaw State, and Indiana State. Certainly not difficult. Some people were saying that Indiana is getting a free ride into the playoff with its scheduling philosophy. So Curt Cignetti was asked about Indiana's scheduling at Big Ten Media Days, and his answer got a lot of attention, didn't it? He said, what's the big deal? We're just following the SEC model. Whoa, everybody, whoa. Everybody calm down. SEC people were apoplectic. They were besides themselves. How dare you insult our tough SEC schedule? Whoa, the problem was Cignetti was right. So I was picking on Georgia earlier. Again, I can mention 12 other SEC teams that have 3 non-Power 4 games on their schedules this year, just like Indiana. Boy, the truth hurts sometimes, doesn't it? So was it bullying, embarrassment, or coincidence that 1 month later, after Cignetti's comments, that they publicly held a mirror in front of the SEC's face, that the conference announced it was adding a 9th conference game, just like the Big Ten? There's probably a little bit of everything in there. Oh, plus ESPN threw in a few extra $1 million to carry an extra SEC game every year. That always helps. That's always part of the equation. So now that the SEC is leveled up, it's probably up to the Big Ten to offer some sort of compromise on their end regarding the playoff format moving forward. Does that mean that Tony Petitti has to agree to the SEC's preferred 5+1 model, where the selection committee chooses 11 of the teams at large? Petitti hates the selection committee. A lot of people hate the selection committee. You know, Petitti, he wants them to have as little power as possible. Petitti likes automatic qualifiers that include play-in games to decide on the field who gets spots in the playoffs. So he's probably going to have to come off of that a little bit now because the ball's in his court. It's his turn to compromise since the SEC just came up with the 9 conference games. So it'll be interesting to see what direction the Big Ten goes regarding the playoff format talks. Again, let's not forget just this weekend, we got a big SEC Big Ten matchup on Saturday with Texas and Ohio State. And we invite you to join us for our live Locked On Big Ten podcast on YouTube immediately following the game. All right. Also, we ask you to hit that subscribe button down below. It's free. It's always free. But more importantly, you'll never miss an episode of Locked On Big Ten. We'll also ask you to share, follow, and like Locked On Big Ten. That helps us out a lot. We would really appreciate that if you can do that. That little arrow there with the share. If you're a Big Ten fan, if you're watching this, you're a Big Ten fan. You probably know other Big Ten fans that don't know we're out here every single day. Hit that little share and share this podcast with them. Go, hey, you might like this. Big Ten every single day. All 18 teams, news, analysis of that news, and opinion that we're never afraid of that news. All under one umbrella here at Locked On Big Ten. All right, appreciate that very much. In the meantime, we got some other stuff we need to talk about. Lots of news out there. We have the latest news out of Ohio State and Michigan and Illinois and their camps. Nebraska is busing to Kansas City to play Cincinnati. We'll talk about that a little bit. They're going to face the Godfather. You know who that is? We'll tell you. Plus, we'll have our Tuesday tweets, and I will tell you how you can get $100 in an Amazon gift card in just 1 minute, coming up here on Locked On Big Ten. Today, FanDuel. Today is officially FanDuel Futures Day. That's right. It's a brand new holiday for football fans who live for the bold predictions and preseason hunches. You got, I think this is going to happen this year. Well, put a little action on it with FanDuel. And so for today, for a 24-hour period, FanDuel is giving you deals of NFL season predictions. So whether you want to call your shot for MVP here in August, whether you want to predict your Super Bowl winner in February here in August, division winners, somebody's going to rise to the top, worst to first, put it down. Let's go with FanDuel. I'm giving you one here right now. Aiden Hutchinson is going to be the defensive player of the year, and he's going to be the comeback player of the year, coming off that horrific injury. You watch, parlay those together, you have a lot of fun. You can do stuff like that today. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your futures bets now, because Futures Day is one day only today. FanDuel, play your game. All right, thanks for checking out Locked On Big Ten and making us your first listen each and every day. I also want to tell you, here's how you can win something right now. Pay attention. Here we go. Got an important request for you. Locked On, the entire Locked On family. We want to hear from you. So we put together a survey to learn more about our listeners, you, and, make your favorite podcast even better. What you like, what you don't like, questions about advertising, all that. So go to lockedonpodcast.com/survey. Got a survey for you to get started. Everyone who completes the survey will automatically be entered for a chance to win one of 10 $100 Amazon gift cards. There, that's how you can win it. So again, that's lockedonpodcast.com/survey. And you can find the link in the show notes here as well at the bottom if you want to check that out. So thank you for helping us out. All right. So I got a little more excitement for Ohio State, as if this week wasn't big enough, getting ready for the Texas game to start the season and defend their national championship. Ryan Day is talking about linebacker SONNY STYLES. It's one of the best he's ever seen since he's been with the Buckeyes. That's what Ryan Day said. Ryan Day is cautious about handing out the compliments, right? Everything's work, everything's process, everything's getting better. He says he's one of the best he's ever seen since he's been there. It's great news for new defensive coordinator Matt Patricia. And, keep in mind, this Buckeyes defense lost 8 starters last year, and still there is some talent on the football field. So, in fact, Styles is one of 7 returning players on the team who started more than half of the games last year for the Buckeyes. So he's got a lot of experience. That's a lot of good news as they get ready to start this big adventure of the 2025 season and defending their national championship. In other Buckeyes news, we keep telling you that 5-star wide receiver Chris Henry Jr. is a solid Ohio State commit, not wavering. And yet teams keep calling him, thinking they can flip him. And a couple of those teams happen to be Oregon and Texas. They keep hounding him. Coach Sark, Coach Dan Lanning, they didn't get the memo. They keep wanting to try to flip this kid. And he keeps politely saying, no, I'm good. I want to come to Ohio State. So, and this comes during a week in which the Buckeyes had a little bit of a tough time. Look, they lost out on 3 5-stars that made announcements this past week. Savion Hyder at Michigan, the running back from Virginia. Braylon Womack decided to go to Auburn. Darius Gray decided to go to South Carolina. We did a podcast on this last week if you want to go back and check it out. So Ohio State took their name, image, and likeness collective in-house. And some people think that that's hurting them, comparing to other schools, competing with other schools. And there might be more to it here. Like Ohio State has decided not every 5-star freshman is going to get a big money deal, because just most freshmen won't play right away. Most freshmen aren't Jeremiah Smith. So you can pay all this money for a kid that maybe 50-50 gets a chance of getting on the field his first year. They'd rather take their money and spend it on key places to plug some holes with transfer portal kids. Anyway, it's a whole thing. We did a whole podcast on it. Check it out last week here when you're done with this one for a second listen. That would be fantastic. So, by the way, that move of bringing the name, image, and likeness collective in-house caused a little bit of angst with Buckeyes fans with new athletic director Ross Bjork. But that's where they're at right now. And they're still doing okay. They're still a top 10 class coming in next year. They're just not top 3 like they normally are. So, but one thing they don't have to worry about is 5-star Chris Henry. He's coming. Nobody's flipping him. Also, did you see this week Michigan named their starting quarterback, true freshman Bryce Underwood, will take the first snap of the season. And in other news, the sky is blue, grass is green, and the sun will set in the west. We saw this coming. We did. It was a big announcement, but it wasn't. And look, Underwood's been taking all the snaps. He's getting all the money. He's the big deal. He was the top recruit. And they did bring Fresno State transfer Mikey Keene, but he missed all the spring. He's been a little bit behind, even though he's a veteran. And Davis Warren, don't forget, he's still there, but he's still recovering from an ACL. He suffered in the bowl game against Alabama. So, by the way, that was another Big Ten win over the SEC. See a theme here? Yeah. Big Ten greater than SEC. The Wolverines open up against New Mexico at the Big House on Saturday. Looking forward to all that. There might be another Big Ten versus SEC battle brewing here. Illinois, the class of 27. They got their quarterback in place. Camden Lapati, talked about him before. Now, Illinois is targeting offensive tackle DJ Dotson to protect him. Believe it or not, Dotson is not rated yet, but people are starting to discover him. He'll be rated soon enough. 6'7", 320 pounds. Kid's like 16 years old. It's incredible. He's already got 3 offers. One of them's Georgia. Georgia, Illinois. Listen, he's not going to be unrated for long. People are on to him. And Illinois wants a crack at bringing him in there as well. Got an interesting note for you here for the Nebraska Cornhuskers in their season opener against Cincinnati. Again, in case you didn't know, that's in Kansas City at Arrowhead. Neutral site. Matt Rule said in this day of coast-to-coast games where you're always taking a plane, he says the Huskers are going to be traveling this game by bus. He says he doesn't want things to be easy, and he thinks the bus trip will be cool. By the way, it's 3.5 hours. That's right on the border of bus versus, hey, maybe we should take a chartered flight. But look, it's justified, but they're not going to do it. Their game is Thursday. Nebraska, Cincinnati at Arrowhead, 9 o'clock Eastern time on ESPN, by the way. So one player that Matt Rule has been talking about that he's been scouting on film is a bit of a concern for the Huskers is Cincinnati defensive tackle Dante Carleone. They actually call him the Godfather. He's 6'1", 330 pounds. He stuffs everything inside. He's very disruptive. He's had 9.5 sacks as a defensive tackle in 34 games. In fact, the Cincinnati front seven is going to be pretty formidable. It could be a problem for the Huskers. But anyway, back to the bus trips. You know, I used to do play-by-play for a school once upon a time, and I loved getting on the bus with the team and just putting everything behind and going traveling. It was a great adventure. It was a lot of fun, a lot of bonding, a lot of great memories. I think it's a good move by Matt Rule for this game. So they got their game on Thursday. Nebraska Cincinnati, one of 4 Big Ten teams that will play before we even get to Saturday. Ohio is at Rutgers. Rutgers, 6 o'clock on Thursday on the Big Ten Network. Buffalo at Minnesota has their game, 8 o'clock on FS1. Don't forget, Coy Parrish, one of the best players in the country. Miami of Ohio is at Wisconsin as well, 9 o'clock on the Big Ten Network. Got a couple more games. I think I may have misspoke. I think there's 6 Big Ten teams that play even before Saturday. These are the 4 that play on Thursday. So we're all excited about that. We'll get into the Friday ones. I know Michigan State, they're opening up on a Friday. That's their thing. So we'll discuss that a little bit later on this week, probably tomorrow. So if you're new to our podcast, we always have features at the end. Our top 10 Big Ten observations of the week on Mondays, Tuesday tweets. Wednesdays, we power rank stuff. Thursdays are Big Ten classics. And Friday, our pigskin picks. We always have fun with that. Coming up next, since it's Tuesday tweets. Hit us up, Twitter, X, @TalkBig10. If it's good, I'll put it on here. Got a great list. That's coming up next in 1 minute right here on Locked On Big Ten. Rougiette ready. Guys, you probably heard of Viagra or Cialis. Probably even tried them. But if you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, it's time to meet Rougiette Ready. Rougiette Ready is a next-gen prescription treatment designed to amplify arousal and blood flow. And unlike the usual pills that could take hours, Rougiette's 3-in-1 formula dissolves under your tongue. It kicks in fast, like 15 minutes. And the effects can last up to 36 hours. So you can stay confident and in control for when the moment is right. 150,000 men have already tried it, already use it, already love it, and great customer reviews. And you can head to rougiette.com/lockedoncollege right now and use the code lockedoncollege and get 15% off today. That's rougiette.com, RUGIET, rougiette.com/lockedoncollege. So use the promo code lockedoncollege for 15% off. Individual results may vary with prescription treatment. Compounded drugs are permitted to be prescribed under federal law, but are not FDA approved and do not undergo FDA safety, effectiveness, and manufacturing review. Please visit the Rougiette website for full safety information. All right, thanks for checking us out here on Locked On Big Ten. It's time for our weekly feature. We're going to do Tuesday tweets. Fire them up and have fun. By the way, send me a tweet on X or Twitter at Talk Big Ten. I'll be more than glad to put it on the program next Tuesday. We'll go full screen if you're audio only. This one is a picture of Squidward from SpongeBob laying in bed, wide awake, can't sleep. This was sent at Woody versus World, the nightly routine this week. And it's a picture of the Fox Bug with number 1 Texas, August 30th, 12 o'clock. Number 3, Ohio State. He can't wait for the game. Can't sleep at night. He's so excited for this one. All right. I'm right there with you, Squidward. More cartoons today. This is from at College Football Alerts. It is from the opening scene of Bart Simpson, where he's in punishment. He's writing on the board. I will watch college football all day, writing it over and over and over. It says, my plans today. I will watch college football all day. That sounds great. Meanwhile, one more from The Simpsons. This is from at the Buck Guys. College football is back. Homer Simpson. I didn't know Homer Simpson was a Buckeye fan. He's got a Buckeyes logo, Buckeyes helmet, pennant, national championship trophy, sitting on the couch, Ohio State shirt, waiting to watch the Buckeyes. There you go. All right, here we have from college football on Fox. And it is a picture of every logo of every college football team for the 2025-26 college football season. It says, this may be the last time this season your team is still on this grid. It says, retweet if your team is undefeated. Just about everybody is undefeated. Well, Kansas State's not. Sam Houston State's not. Stanford's not. But, you know, a very select few are not. Most everybody else is undefeated. That's pretty cool. Okay, look at that. This is a screaming bald face. Who is that? That's James Franklin. It's a video. This is from at Barstool Penn State. And this is from Saturday. College football will be played today. And then one more Saturday till Penn State kicks off. We are so back. I'm surprised there's not a hashtag we are on this. But yeah, James Franklin, pretty pumped up. Everybody's pretty pumped up. Big expectations for James Franklin at Penn State this year. Like they got to get to the Big Ten championship game and win it. And like it's natty or bust for them, right? If not now, when it comes to James Franklin and Penn State. This is their most loaded team they've ever had. Here we go. This is from at Badger Football. It is the team photo on the bleachers. Your 2025 Wisconsin Badgers. Thought I'd throw this out there. Luke Fickell and company. Year 3 for Luke Fickell. And look at this Badgers team right now. This is, they got the toughest schedule in the Big Ten. And I don't even think it's close. I think record-wise could be a tough year for them. But they could be better. But I don't know if it'll show up in the win column this season. Maybe next year. Hey, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. This is from at Buckeye Nation. You know, there's a travel ad, Pure Michigan. Try and get tourists to go to Michigan. This says Pure Michigan. And it says just passing the Michigan travel bus when actually it is a semi flatbed with a bunch of maize and blue porta pots. Passing the Michigan travel bus. That's from Buckeye Nation. Well, that's not going to stand. Here's from Mason Blue Review, Michigan football, picture of Bryce Underwood with the logo QB1 behind him. Yep, that's right. He was named the starting quarterback for Michigan. Sharon Moore making the announcement this week. He informed the other quarterbacks on Sunday, and they're ready to roll. He just turned 18. He was 17, just turned 18 this week, and now he has the responsibility of being the starting quarterback, going to go into the big house. It's got to be exciting and nerve-wracking all at once, but the guy is a specimen. Here's from Justin's at Darko State News. It says, what a legacy, #GoBlue. It's 2 pictures of Jim Harbaugh. First one on the left, years at Michigan, 9 years at Michigan. On the right, years banned from the sport, 14. He's got 2 show causes. He's got a 4-year show cause and a 10-year show cause for Burgergate and Spygate. There it is. Michigan fans not going to like that one. Here's Ohio State at Ohio State Athletics. It is officially game week, period. #Go Bucks. And 75 for the Bucks. That's their center, right? Chris Hinsman. He's all cheering and yelling. Got the crowd behind him ready to go. He's excited. Here we go. Some more hype for week 1 at Oregon football. Finally, game week. Let's pack Autzen and GoDucks.com, #GoDucks. It's a nice looking logo. It's a good looking uniform there at Oregon. Same thing, more hype with Indiana football at Indiana football. More nods for the Cream and Crimson, the AP preseason All-American second team. You know, right in the middle there is Elijah Surratt. I'm going to tell you this right now. Elijah Surratt is the best wide receiver in the Big Ten, not named Jeremiah Smith. I'm going to stand by that. I've said it many times. I'll say it again. There's Aiden Fisher, and I believe that's D'Angelo Pons on the left as well. Second team All-American players from Indiana. Here's let's throw one at the Boilermakers. We just showed the Wisconsin's team photo. Here's the team photo of the Purdue Boilermakers at Purdue football releasing this year, 2025 Purdue Boilermakers. This is the only team with the coaching change this year. I think they've got 50 or 60 transfer portal guys. Only one starter back from last year from Ryan Walters' team. So there they are. Take a look at them. The Boilermakers. All right, that's Tuesday tweets. Send me a tweet at X at Talk Big Ten, and we're here every single day. Tomorrow in our feature, we'll do some power rankings. I think we'll power rank the games, which ones, obviously Texas, Ohio State's the first one. We'll fill out the list tomorrow, plus all the latest Big Ten news as well. Every day, all 18 teams, audio and video podcasts, most unique podcast in America with the Big Ten. We have the latest news, analysis of that news, and opinion of that news that we're not afraid of to give you. Check out a second listen if you missed earlier in the week. And feel free to tell your friends about us. Share, follow, and like. And don't forget to subscribe before you go. And I'll also invite you for a second listen for our friend Brian Smith. He's got something called The Portal Show with our Locked On family. All things transfer portal. Kids still looking for places to land after being in the spring portal. He's all over it. Show's doing pretty well. So check that out on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. All right, it's game week. We're a day closer. We got there. Can't wait to talk to you again tomorrow. I'm Craig Sheeman for Locked On Big Ten, and I already can't wait for us to get going tomorrow. We'll see you then.